Deputy Speaker, and I rise to speak on the important work of the Economics and Infrastructure Committee in its inquiry into road safety of vulnerable road users. I had the opportunity to speak on the tabling of this report during the last sitting week, and I didn't have time when I spoke last time to thank the committee secretariat for all their work on this important report. A huge amount of work went into combining the submissions, drafting the report and working with the committee members. Can I thank Karen, Mariana and Alyssa for all of their work on pulling this together. And I know there are a number of fellow members in the chamber today. To the member for Ballerine as the chair, thank you. To the member for Shepparton as the deputy chair, the member for Pascoe Vale, the member for Manarakan, and the member for Glen Waverley and the member for Tarneet. We certainly heard from many witnesses throughout the inquiry, and particularly I think the opportunity to travel into regional Victoria to Shepparton, hosted by the member for Shepparton. It was really important to hear about the impact on vulnerable road users on regional roads as well, and some of the important recommendations specifically relating to regional roads in the report. Deputy Speaker, vulnerable road users are road users that are not in a vehicle, and they're generally considered to include pedestrians, motorcycle riders, cyclists, children under 7 years old, the elderly and users of mobility devices. And unfortunately, in the event of a crash, they often have little to no protection. And this inquiry investigated how we can improve the safety of vulnerable road users, particularly in a post-COVID world where we've seen aggression on our roads, anecdotally at least, increase over recent years. And as I said, the inquiry received over 300 submissions and we held many public hearings. And there are 56 detailed recommendations contained in the report, each relating to different findings about how we can improve road safety right across the state. And in my time today, I would like to speak specifically about an important recommendation, Recommendation 27, that is very important to my electorate of Kew. Recommendation 27 highlights the need to review the location of pedestrian crossings on arterial roads to ensure that there are regular crossings linked to public transport stops, activity centres and schools. Now, my electorate of Kew, Deputy Speaker, is home to more than 30 schools, as well as dozens of early childhood, kinders and centres right across the electorate. But there is one particular stretch of road where, on Barker's Road, between Burke Road and Power Street, but particularly between Auburn Road and Glenferrie Road, where there are many, many schools. MLC, Wrighton, we have an early childhood centre there, then just up the road we have Carey and Xavier. These schools do not have access to a pedestrian crossing on Barker's Road. And despite the number of vulnerable road users, the amount of traffic of parents often ferrying children to and from school, and it being a main arterial road through our electorate on the border with Hawthorn, there is no pedestrian crossing near the schools that allow for people to safely cross the road. Deputy Speaker, I raised this issue in this place on the 20th of June last year after two students from MLC actually raised their concerns with me during the Kew Primary School Leaders Forum earlier that month. And on the 10th of July last year, the Minister responded that the Department of Transport and Planning would carry out an investigation and identify appropriate treatment options to enhance pedestrian safety along this section of the road. Unfortunately, earlier this month, we had a situation where a mother and her two young children were actually hit by a car while trying to cross this stretch of Barker's Road. Thankfully, both the mother and the child did not sustain life-threatening injuries, but of course this incident highlights the need for greater safety, greater opportunities for pedestrians to safely cross the road on this stretch of road, and it also brought to the fore the concerns of the local community. And can I particularly call out the faculty cafe owners Michael and Cynthia Pelosi, who have been at the forefront of advocating for this safety change. They own a cafe just opposite MLC, next to the 7-Eleven, and often talk to their local customers about the need for improved road safety for their customers to be able to cross the road safely to attend their cafe. And just last week, the member for Hawthorn and I launched an e-petition for this pedestrian crossing on Barkers Road, and it's already garnered over 550 signatures both online and at the physical petition hosted at the cafe. So I seek the Minister to urgently review this pedestrian crossing and look to recommendation 27 in this report.
The member for